Troy from Ace Appliance in Toledo, Ohio. Welcome back to another in-home diagnostic video brought to you by ApplianceVideo.com.
Okay, so today what we're looking at is a GE profile refrigerator. Customer is getting no cool in the fresh food section and is getting cold in the freezer section. Since it's cold in the freezer section, I'm going to assume the compressor is on. I can hear the fan underneath and I can hear the fan from inside. So what I've had the customer do is remove the shelving in the food, and what we can see back here is that there's frost starting to build up on this back panel. And what that is telling me is that the evaporator is most likely frozen, and if it's frozen we have to check and see why. Typically it's going to be a heater or a termination. It could be a fan if we didn't hear the fan, but we hear a fan, so we're going to explore further inside. For the repair today, you're going to need a drill or a Phillips head screwdriver and a 1/4-inch nut driver, a multimeter, and a flashlight. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn the refrigerator off. There's no point in having it on right now. Both parts that I'm going to test are going to either be need to be cold or just have a meter attached to them. So I'm going to take off. This unit has screws along the top and then 1/4-inch nut drivers at the bottom. I'm going to remove all of them. Once the screws are removed, you can probably grab the bottom, pull it out, it'll start to fall free. Up the top, it may or may not have a ground wire attached. You're just going to have to kind of turn a little sideways to get it to come out from around your shelving parts. Okay, so now inside this unit, what I have here are a heater, evaporator on both sides, and a termination that's right up here. That's what this wire goes to. I'm going to take this wiring harness and I'm going to open up the wiring harness so I can get to where it plugs together at. Once we've got that apart, we're going to take the part that actually goes to all the unit, all the components we're going to test. We're going to take our meter, we're going to check it for continuity, and what we're going to do is we're going to follow this orange and this pink wire back up. We can see that it goes to 2 separate plugs. Sounds like that's working. Let's check the heaters now. And one of the heaters is open. So what we're going to have to do is take a look and see if it's a single heater or if it's a dual heater, and the thermostat combination I have to go double check outside. But I'll be back in to finish the repair. Okay, so we've determined that we need a new heater assembly with termination. It's both heaters, goes all the way up to this harness and has a termination connected to it. We're going to install that. What you're going to need to do is you're going to need to, one, either going to have to let your refrigerator and your freezer defrost for 24 hours. Make sure it's completely defrosted. It takes 24 hours. And then put your food back in it. That's if you have something else you can use to put your food in to keep it cold. What you may have to do is use a blow dryer to evenly move around and melt all the ice on here so that it's completely clear. And once you do that, you can turn the unit back on and plug everything back in. Best to let it defrost for 24 hours to make sure there's not anything still frozen. But if you need to, you can use a hair dryer. Be careful to have it in one spot for too long because you will start to melt your plastic liner inside your refrigerator. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to remove the screws that are holding the heaters in place. There's one on each side. Once I remove them, the heaters will come free. The wires that they connected to will run up, and I'll be able to pull them down as well. Once you remove the 4 screws, you can remove the heater and assembly from around. You just got to work it out from where it is because it is going to be kind of frozen in place. The termination is all the way back up over here. Just follow the wires. It should pop right off. Now that I have the new part out, I'm going to start positioning it in to where it goes. I'm going to start with the bottom heater because I can let the heater that goes up on top just hang for a few seconds or lay on the bottom, I'm sorry. So I'm going to take it and position it so it's right. It's got tabs on the heater bracket so you know which way that goes. They set on top of it. But just remember that the the metal flat piece goes out, not the open side. You set it like this. Once I set the bottom one in place, I'm going to go ahead and screw it in place. Once I got that one screwed in place, I'm going to go ahead and position the other one. You may need to hold it with both hands up in position. Get it screwed into place. Now you're going to want to make sure that the wires are tucked out of the way, just on each side. You're going to run these ones back up the side to the top. Get your defrost termination clipped into place. Get your wires, for the most part, repositioned where they do go. Once you've got it back in place, connect your plug. Put your 3 Phillips head on the top, your 2 1/4 inch on the bottom, and then you can turn the unit back on. So once you've got it all put back together, you're going to put the back panel on. If you are defrosting it with a blow dryer, you would go ahead and do so now. I would lay a couple towels inside and also make sure you have access to the bottom of it to make sure that there isn't any water left on the floor. If you're not going to let it defrost, or if you're going to let it defrost overnight, then you can stop right here, leave the door open, lay a couple decent sized towels inside the refrigerator, inside the freezer section, to cover up the drain hole, so that the water will go into the towels, and I'd lay a couple out on the floor just so whatever water comes off gets caught by the towels. And then tomorrow morning, if you check it, or after 24 hours you check it and it's completely defrosted, you can then put your back on. What I'm going to do now is put the back on because it will be defrosted in 24 hours and the customer will be able to turn the unit back on at that point. Okay, so to slide the back panel in place again, you come in from one side. Once it's in there, it goes pretty much around the other side of the brackets as well. We're going to put our screws in the top first. And then 2 more that go across the bottom. You put your shelves back in, and that will conclude our repair for the day.
Thank you for watching another quality video brought to you by ApplianceVideo.com.